redrafting the Los Angeles Kings from 2014 to 2019. The LA Kings are still partially rebuilding right now because they didn't draft well from 2014 to 2019. If they drafted well during this time span, they would have been a contender by now. This is how the LA Kings should have drafted from 2014 to 2019. Before the 2014 draft, the LA Kings make a few trades. LA Kings trade Mike Richards to the Calgary Flames for Paul Byron, a second-round pick in 2014 and a second-round pick in 2015. LA retains $1.5 million of his annual cap hit until the 2018-19 season. The Kings also trade Justin Williams and Slava Voyanov to the Carolina Hurricanes for a first-round pick in 2014 and a second-round pick in 2015. Dustin Brown is traded to the Florida Panthers for a first-round pick in 2015 and a second-round pick in 2016. At the 2014 draft, the LA Kings trade pick 60 to the Columbus Blue Jackets for picks 76, 107, and 137. In the 2014 draft, the LA Kings draft Dylan Larkin 7th overall, Adrian Kempe 29th overall, T.Demko 34th overall, Brandon Montour 50th overall, Braden Point 76th overall, Devon Toews 90th overall, Victor Arvidsson 107th overall, and Gustav Forsling 137th overall. Paul Byron is re-signed to a 2-year deal worth $750K per season. LA Kings don't re-sign Marian Gaborik, and the LA Kings don't trade for Andrej Sekera. The LA Kings missed the playoffs in the 2014-15 season and end up with the 13th pick in the draft. The Kings still trade Martin Jones to the Boston Bruins, but they don't trade for Milan Lucic. So LA still has their 2015 first-round pick. At the 2015 draft, the LA Kings trade picks 11, 74, and 99 to the Colorado Avalanche for picks 10 and a third-round pick in 2016. In the 2015 draft, the LA Kings draft Mikko Rantanen 10th overall, Thomas Chabot 13th overall, Sebastian Aho 35th overall, Erik Cernak 43rd overall, Rasmus Andersson 53rd overall, and K.Kaprizov 134th overall. LA Kings don't sign Christian Ehrhoff. The Kings also don't trade for Vincent Lecavalier and Chris Versteeg. At the 2016 trade deadline, one major trade is made. Jeff Carter is traded to the Montreal Canadiens for Phillip Danault and a first-round pick in 2016. LA Kings missed the playoffs again in the 2015-16 season and end up with the 9th pick in the draft. At the 2016 draft, the LA Kings trade pick 21 to the St. Louis Blues for picks 26 and 59. The Kings also trade pick 39 to the Buffalo Sabres for a second and third round picks in 2017. In the 2016 draft, the LA Kings draft Mikhail Sergachev 9th overall, T.Thompson 26th overall, Alex DeBrincat 39th overall, Adam Fox 59th overall, Rem Pitlick 71st overall, Ross Colton 100th overall, and Jesper Bratt 160th overall. Phillip Danault and Paul Byron are re-signed to 2-year deals worth $900K per season. LA Kings don't sign Devin Setoguchi or Teddy Purcell. The LA Kings don't trade for Ben Bishop or Jerome McGinley. LA Kings plummet in the standings in the 2016-17 season and end up with the 4th pick in the draft. Before the 2017 draft, one trade is made. LA Kings trade Jonathan Quick to the Colorado Avalanche for a second-round pick in 2017 and a second-round pick in 2019. At the 2017 draft, the LA Kings trade picks 32, 66, and 97 to the Dallas Stars for pick 26. In the 2017 draft, the LA Kings draft Cale Makar 4th overall, Jake Oettinger 26th overall, Jason Robertson 35th overall, Jeremy Swayman 89th overall, and J.Batherson 118th overall. Victor Arvidsson is re-signed to a 7-year deal worth $4.25 million per season. LA Kings don't sign Mike Camilleri, and the Kings don't trade for Dion Phaneuf. The LA Kings have one of the worst records in the NHL in the 2017-18 season and end up with a 2nd pick in the draft. Before the 2018 draft, one major trade is made. LA Kings trade Drew Doughty to the Colorado Avalanche for Tyson Barrie, Alex Kerfoot, and 2 first-round picks. In the 2018 draft, the LA Kings draft Andrei Svechnikov 2nd overall, Rasmus Kupari 16th overall, Alexander Romanov 33rd overall, Tyler Madden 84th overall, and Y.Sharongovich 126th overall. Dylan Larkin is re-signed to a 6-year deal worth $6.1 million per season. LA Kings re-signed the following players: Phillip Danault to a 3-year deal worth $3.08 million per season, Paul Byron to a 1-year deal worth $1.2 million, and Devon Toews to a 2-year deal worth $700K per season. The LA Kings also don't sign Ilya Kovalchuk or Brandon Lebsick. At the 2019 trade deadline, 2 trades are made. LA Kings trade Alec Martinez and Tyler Toffoli to the Vegas Golden Knights for Nate Schmidt and a first-round pick in 2019. The Kings also trade Jake Muzzin and Tanner Pearson to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Timothy Liljegren, Connor Brown, and a first-round pick in 2019. The LA Kings have a much better record in the 2018-19 season and end up with the 15th pick in the draft. In the 2019 draft, the LA Kings draft K.Kaprizov 15th overall, Tobias Bjornfot 22nd overall, Nicholas Robertson 50th overall, and Jordan Spence 87th overall. LA Kings re-signed the following players: Mikko Rantanen to a 6-year deal worth $9.25 million per season, Sebastian Aho to a 5-year deal worth $8.45 million per season, and Brayden Point to a 3-year deal worth $6.75 million per season. T.Demko is re-signed to a 2-year deal worth $1 million per season. Before the 2019-20 season, a few trades are made. LA Kings trade Anze Kopitar to the Minnesota Wild for Kevin Fiala, Joel Eriksson Ek, Luke Kunin, and a first-round pick in 2020. If Kopitar scores more than 60 points, the Kings get an additional first-round pick in 2021. Philip Deneau and Brandon Montour are traded to the Florida Panthers for a first-round pick in 2021. Tyson Barrie and Alex Kerfoot are traded to the Buffalo Sabres for a second-round pick in 2020 and a second-round pick in 2021. Victor Arvidsson and Adrian Kempe are traded to the Arizona Coyotes for Lawson Crouse and a second-round pick in 2021. Nate Schmidt is traded to the Winnipeg Jets for a third-round pick in 2020. Alex Alaflalo and Gustav Forsling are traded to the Detroit Red Wings for 2 third-round picks. LA Kings re-signed the following players: Kevin Fiala to a 2-year deal worth $3 million per season, and Lawson Crouse to a 3-year deal worth $1.53 million per season. By the 2019-20 season, the LA Kings have put together a powerhouse team. The first line is Brayden Point, centering Alex DeBrincat and Mikko Rantanen. The second line is Sebastian Aho, centering Andrei Svechnikov and Kevin Fiala. The third line is Dylan Larkin, centering Jesper Bratt and Luke Kunin. The fourth line is Joel Eriksson Ek, centering Lawson Crouse and Connor Brown. The first D pair is Devon Toews and K.L.Makar. The second D pair is T.Chabot and Erik Cernak. The third D pair is M.Sergachev and Rasmus Andersson. The goalies are T.Demko and J.Campbell. The top prospects are K.Kaprizov, K. Kaufield, J.Robertson, D.Batherson, T.Thompson, Rasmus Kupari, Y.Sharongovich, A.Fox, A.Romanov, T.Bjornfot, Jordan Spence, J.Oettinger, and J.Swayman. The LA Kings now have an up-and-coming young team that will contend for Stanley Cups for the next decade.